Hey, what's going on, guys? So our lure review this week is going to be on the Innovations Vixen. For those of you that don't know, the Vixen was a lure that was out before, however many years ago, I don't know, but it was a lure that was out before. It was a very popular lure, and then from my understanding, I don't know the specifics of the circumstances, but the owner of Reaction Innovations, Andre Moore, there was some kind of a transaction between the owner of Paycheck Baits, Bob Tosh, and Paycheck Baits ended up releasing the Vixen, but under the name Repo Man. And they actually had both sizes. The Vixen originally had two sizes. They had the barely legal, and then they had the regular Vixen. The barely legal was the smaller one. And so the Repo Man, they had the Repo Man, and then they had the Repo Man late payment. And so the late payment is the smaller one. So you're going to see a lot of similarities between these two lures. You can remember my review of the Repo Man. I really enjoyed fishing with this lure. I think it's a fantastic lure if it doesn't take on water. It has an issue in the back that is not an isolated circumstance. It seems to be shared by several other people out there that have purchased this lure, where it takes on water in the rear, and for a $17 bait, that's just something that you can't get past. So you can't give it the green light to go ahead and buy that lure, because when you have issues like that, I mean, that's just no bueno, I guess. So so like I said, we basically have just the one size out for now. He could Reaction Innovations might come out with another one. I don't know if they are or not, but leaving that open, I guess. So the Vixen that we have here in front of us has a length of 4 3/4 inches. It has a weight of 3/4 of an ounce, and it's a topwater floating lure. Now, I'm going to be comparing these two lures a lot, obviously, with the Repo Man, the new Vixen, but also with the River2Sea Rover, because there's a lot of similarities with this lure as well. And then also I want to thank my buddy for lending me his original Vixen. He has several of these, and he lent me this one in the rainbow trout pattern, so you guys can see that it's obviously an older one, because they haven't released the rainbow trout pattern yet, and they may not, but in the newer versions they haven't released this pattern yet. So this is an original Vixen here. So I've had the opportunity to play around with them excuse me, and to kind of go over what the similarities and differences are between all 4 of these lures. So moving on, as far as the first impressions of the lure, you'll see that it has a split ring on the front. You may choose to take the split ring off and opt for just a loop knot. That's something that I would probably do. And then you'll see it has the black split rings all the way to the rear. There's no feather dress trailer hook. I don't think that there was originally on the original Vixen. I don't think that there was a feather dress trailer hook on the original one either, but on the Repo Man there is, and on the Rover there is as well. So this color here is silver Flutter Shad. You'll see it says Vixen right there on the back. One thing that I appreciate about the Vixen, and you know, they did this on the Repo Man too. I forget what this color is, some kind of a bone color, but you'll see that it has that glitter. It's kind of like sandpaper on the belly of it, and this one has kind of like this scale pattern on the belly of it. And the reason why I like that is because a lot of baits, they don't pay too much attention to what's on the belly of them as far as on topwater lures, and on topwater lures that's mainly what the fish are seeing. So the lure has, all things being equal, they are the same bait. I mean, as far as I use that term "same" very, very carefully, because in the fishing industry you really want to make sure you know, because even the smallest minute differences can be the reason why somebody would want to buy one lure over another. Anglers are very, very fickle people, and they have their little idiosyncrasies, and when they find a lure that works for them, and they believe that it's because of a small minute difference, that's the reason why they buy it. So I use the word "same" very loosely, and I should use it a little bit more carefully. But with that being said, you have the ball, the weight ball there that kind of rocks from the side to side, that gives it that main knocking sound. And so you have that, that's the same, and then also you have the 3 plastic or glass balls that are in the head. I don't know if you can see it in that one. You might be able to see it in this one. You can see them kind of bouncing around in the head there. But basically, they're manufactured the same, and it is from my understanding, from people who know better than I do, and that I've spoken to Andre Moore, who's the owner of Reaction Innovations. It was extremely important to the folks at Reaction Innovations that they got this lure either the same or very, very close to the same as possible. They weren't going to release the lure, from what I understand, until it was something that was close or the same as the original Vixen. That's the way I understand it. I could be wrong, but I'm hearing that kind of third party, I guess. So that's, as consumers, especially consumers that appreciated the original Vixen, that's something that you can really appreciate, because they were making the effort to try to put something out that was similar or the same as the original Vixen. So that's something, as a consumer myself, that I actually really appreciate. So basically what we have here, they all kind of sit in the water, almost kind of parallel to the water. The one that sits the most parallel in the water is the River2Sea Rover, but the remaining three, the Vixen Gen 1, Gen 2, and Repo Man, they all kind of sit just barely tail down in the water. That there are some varying degrees of differences in how far they sit, but for the most part, it's basically right in here. Some are right there, some are right in there, and that could just be differences in the plastic and the bait and the weight of the ball. But all things being the same, they all pretty much sit at the same angle in the water, which is just barely tail down in the water. The way that they work in the water, they have a nice gliding action. You can really pop the lure too and really get that nice bubble effect over the mouth. But they really have when you get the right cadence going, they really have a nice gliding action where when you pop it, it'll kind of slide forward, and then you pop it the other way, it'll slide the other way. And they have just a little bit of a roll on them as well. The Rover probably has the most rolling effect on the top. That's probably because it sits the most horizontal in the water, so it's going to have more of a rolling effect in the water. But they all kind of have, like, as they pop over, they kind of like roll over a little bit, and then they roll over the other way. So they kind of give that flash of that side profile. You'll see that it has kind of a little bit of a cupped mouth on there. Has the raised gill plates. There isn't really much by way of the like texturized etched scale pattern, but they all pretty much have like an embossed scale pattern. You can see it on this one the best, but you can't feel it. It's almost underneath it's probably underneath the plastic. So the body feels smooth, but that scale pattern's still underneath. Obviously with this bait, that has that painted on scale pattern on there as well. So the biggest differences that you're gonna find, and however minute the differences are, the biggest differences that you're gonna find are gonna be in the sound. Now, I've tried to see how much difference is in between the old one and the new one, and I will shake them both around for you guys so you guys can hear the differences, if you can hear any differences at all. But the pitch is just slightly different in one versus the other one. So, and again, that could mean nothing to some people, but to other people that can mean everything. So here's the original Vixen, and I guess it'll sound more like this going through the water. Here's a new one. Let's see this one. And then the old Vixen again. New Vixen. And then the Repo Man. And then the River2Sea Rover. So you can definitely tell that there are some differences. I don't know if you're going to be able to make them out on the video, but there are some differences in the sound here. They all seem, with the exception of the Rover, they all seem to have like a really nice thick, or maybe not thick, but high density plastic, where you get that really nice, unique sound, which was something that I appreciated on the Paycheck baits, and also reciprocated in the Vixen as well. They all have a really nice, unique, respectable sound to them, which is going to call fish from, I'm sure, from varying distances, and it's going to be up to you guys to decide on whether or not the new Vixen is as good as the old Vixen. But from people that know better than me, my buddy included, who has several of these lures and has fished with them for years and swears by them, and understands the value behind the Vixen, he says that he can't tell any discernible difference between the new one and the old one. So, and this is a guy that fishes all the time. I've learned pretty much everything I know about fishing from this guy, and really respect his opinion. So if you guys respect my opinion, then you'll respect his opinion, because he definitely knows better than I do. So, but with all that being said, it's a very, very great lure. I mean, I'm so happy that I was able to get my hands on it. Obviously, I mean, I usually just buy a couple lures just to test them out. I have 4 of these already, so I really like the Vixen a lot. I think it's a great lure. I think if you guys want to get out there and try a top tier lure, I know that there are some people that think that the paint jobs on them are not as good. For me, that's going to be yet to be determined. I don't know how well the paint jobs are going to hold up, but I can tell you that the paint jobs look really, really nice with the 3-dimensional holographic eyes that they have on there. Those are going to be slightly different than the ones in the Paycheck and the Repo Man. So I'm going to go ahead and go over the colors here. This one is silver flitter shad. You got the scale pattern on the back with kind of like an olive green and fading into like a cream on the shoulders here, and kind of clear on towards the belly on the side. And it's obviously got silver glitter on the sides, and then it's got this scale pattern there on the belly. This is silver flitter shad. The next one we have is bluegill. I got the bluegill because I just really wanted a loud color, and it seemed to be, with the exception of lime ice, it seemed to be the loudest color, loud in terms of how bright the color is, and that's why I bought the bluegill color here. So it's got a black back. You'll see it says Vixen there on the back, and scale patterns on the side with the vertical stripes. Got that ear right behind the gill plate. Kind of like the bleeding gills there, orange like chin or neck, if you will, there, and just pretty much just a clear, transparent belly overall there. This is a very nice color. This is called bluegill. All right, you guys, so there's my review of this lure. I did my best to try to do my homework on this lure and find out what I could. I know that there's going to be some lure snobs out there. My buddy is and I say this term in the most endearing way possible, he's a lure snob himself, but he's somebody that says that between these two lures, between the new Vixen and the old Vixen, it's not enough to get out there. If there is a difference, it's not enough to not get out there and purchase this lure if you're a Vixen fan. So make sure you guys check out the Reaction Innovations Vixen. If you guys like the review, please give me a like over here in the lower left corner. Really appreciate that, and stay tuned for another review. I've got several lined up. Thanks a lot, guys.